All right, Honors Math 9. Our last section was using the distance formula and the slope formula and the midpoint formula to just identify it. Now we're going to use those same formulas to help us prove statements. So we have to either prove or disprove. So we're either going to say that this statement is true or it is false based on our own algebra findings. So if I'm given the point that A is -4, 7, B is 2, 5, and x is -1, 6, we have to prove or disprove that x is the midpoint of AB. Since we're proving that it is the midpoint, we are going to use the midpoint formula. Awesome. Based on that, the midpoint formula, and since we're proving x is the midpoint of segment AB, we're going to use points A and B for our midpoint. So we're going to add the x's. So 2 plus -4 divided by 2. And then it's 5 plus 7 divided by 2. And we know that the midpoint, based on this information, -2 over 2 is -1. 5 plus 7 is 12 divided by 2 is 6. We know, based on our findings, that the midpoint is -1, 6. Since x is also the point -1, 6, we just proved that statement to be true. However, we have to write a proof. And when we write a proof, we are going to do paragraph proofs. So we're first going to start off with writing the given statement. Then we're going to state the formula that we use. We're going to state what our results. So based on this formula, what did we find to be true? We found out the midpoint to be -1, 6. And then last but not least, you're going to analyze. And you're going to use this it's like an outline to write all of your proofs. So our first thing, we're going to write given. And I know that this is very, I would say, annoying and redundant. You have to copy the given statement exactly for what it is. So given, A is -4, 7, B is 2, 5, and X is -1, 6. Using the midpoint formula, and you know I love to abbreviate, so MP formula. If I was handing this in for a quiz or test, I would totally write midpoint, but it's just notes, so MP formula. We found the midpoint to be -1, 6. So this was our given statement. This was we stated the formula, and this was our results. So now we have to analyze. Now we can say, since the midpoint and x are the same, we're going to say that it is the midpoint or it is not. We are going to say it is. X is the midpoint of AB. So this whole thing right here, these few couple sentences, that is going to be your solution. Nice job. Example number 2, we have to either prove or disprove based on given these points whether segment AB is going to be perpendicular to CD. If we're talking about perpendicular lines, we know that these lines have to have opposite reciprocal slopes, so it means that we have to do the slope formula. So I'm going to find the slope of AB, and that's going to be 6 minus 2 over -7 plus 8. So it's going to be 4 over 1, because again, when you subtract a negative, it becomes positive. And the slope of CD is going to be 2 minus 3 over 3 plus 1, so -1 over 4. Since these slopes are opposite reciprocals, we know that it is perpendicular. Now we can write our proof. Since these slopes are opposite reciprocals, we know that it is perpendicular. Now we can write our proof. Here's our proof following the same format. Given our information, given A, B, and C, D, we use a slope formula. The slope of AB is 4 and CD is -4. So here is our given, the formula used, the results. Now we analyze. Since the slopes are opposite reciprocals, we can say that AB is perpendicular to CD. Example 3 is given A is 6, -4, B is 2, 9, C is -5, -8, and D is -1, 6. We have to prove that they are congruent, which means that we're going to use the distance formula. Finding the distance of AB using the distance formula, this distance is the square root of 185. The distance of CD is also the square root of 185. Since they are the same, we can say that they are congruent. So now I'm going to write the proofs using the same general format. Finding the distance of AB using the distance formula, this distance is the square root of 185. The distance of CD is also the square root of 185. Since they are the same, we can say that they are congruent. So now I'm going to write the proofs using the same general format. Last but not least, our proof. Given the information A, B, C, D, using the distance formula, the distance of AB is square root of 185 and the CD is the square root of 185. Since the lengths are the same, we can say that they are congruent. Nice job.